Hey folks, Steve Alcorn here once again. How you doing? Just wanted to give you guys a quick sales update for some of the things I sold in February. What is today? February 13th. Some of this might go back to January. I don't know. So we're going to do a screen share here. I want to thank Scott Zilke, the Bearded Picker, for having me on the morning show, the Reseller Breakfast Club morning show. If you haven't checked that show out, go ahead and check it out. Regardless of if you like me or not, that's okay. Uh, you can go ahead and check that out on the Bearded Picker channel. Dusty, Graham, Dex, and Scott and myself were on there this morning. So go ahead and give that a shot. If you like it, let us know. If you don't, that's cool too. Hopefully I'll get the chance to go back on again. It was a good experience for me. Meeting some of the guys that I watched on YouTube for quite a while. So, and it was great to hang out with them and enjoyed it immensely. So I'm going to do a screen share and show you some of the things that I sold this month. If the screen share button will work. Like I said, I'm still learning how to run my own show and how to do my own Google stuff. So this first item, and I'm looking at two screens, so if I do that number, you'll understand why. There's a whole big thing, and I didn't know any of this, called Wandertog, which is a wandering club, and I don't know a whole lot about it, but I picked up a bunch of these Wandertog medals. I guess every time you compete in an event or you participate in an event, you get a medal. This one was End of the Trail. I think it was from, it doesn't say where it was from, but this one was really heavy. I picked up a bunch of these, probably 25 or 26 of them at a Goodwill for 89 cents a piece, and took forever, but this is the first one that sold, and I got $9.95 for it plus shipping. So it did sell. I wouldn't pick them up again, and if none of them sell, I'll lot them all up together. I paid, well, about $26 for the whole lot, so it wasn't a big deal. I need to sell one more to make most of my money back, and then after that I'll probably lot them up and just sell them all as one lot, because the return on investment wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. But that's okay. It was a really cool medal. You can see here it's the old Indian on the horse end of the trail deal, and I did get it. This one didn't say where it was from. Most of them on here will say where it was from. It'll give the date. Wandertog is a German thing, and I don't know much about it. But if you get a chance, go ahead and look it up, and it's kind of interesting. And some of the medals that they give are really, really nice. This was probably the nicest one out of the lot, and it was the first one to sell. But it took about a month. So next is this CD, and I buy a lot of CDs. People pass them up in thrift stores, but if they're sealed, I'll look them up. And if they have cool artwork that I hadn't seen before or something of that nature, I'll look them up. I don't look up every CD, and I'm not sure why I'm on Italy, but the shipping is to Italy. I did not sell this to Italy. Somebody asked me a question. I was checking on shipping to Italy, and in my preferences down here under the shipping tab, it's going to say Italy, so I need to change that back to the United States. So I'll do that real quick. It might change it on all of them. It might not, because I already have the, that's better. This was free shipping. I got $19.83 for it. It was guided mindfulness. I can't even speak. Guided mindfulness meditation series. So any kind of like specialty type CDs that teach you something tend to do well. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And this was about meditation. And I had this one for quite some time, but I did eventually sell it. I was asking more at one time. I put it on sale for 10% off, and it sold. Just a Dan Post Boots, which is a cowboy boot manufacturer. I had this one for a while too. At one time, see, it did go back to, it reverted back to that Italy shipping. So at one time I was asking $25 for it. I've learned recently that hats will sell great in the $13 to $20 range, and this one I had so long I just put it on a nice discount and got rid of it, shipped out, and as far as I know, they're happy with it. This is from that patch lot. I have two more of these, this particular blue one available. These are all from the 60s and 70s. I picked them up for $10, and I've sold the heck out of them. I've made probably $250 off of this $10 buy. They take a while to sell, but they're easy to list. You take a picture of the front, you take a picture of the back, and you list them. And there was actually two of this. There was a green one like this too. So it sold. I sold one of those earlier in the month, and now I just sold this one. So they take a while to sell, but they just sit in my store. They're really easy to store. They take up no space at all. I have them in a bag, and that's it. And so every time one sells, I go to the bag, pick it out, ship it off, and away it goes. And I've never had a return on one, and never had a complaint on one. In fact, I've gotten a lot of good feedback from these patches. So this was the Oppo suit. That is the name brand. They were made for Halloween costumes. I think the tag actually shows that. I might not have showed that tag. There it is. It says Spirit Halloween. I hope that you can see that. They were made as Halloween costumes, but people like them. People will wear them to proms. It came with the jacket, the pants, and the tie. So this was basically a 32 by 32 as in waist and length for the pants, and a size 42 suit jacket and the tie. And that one I sold for $28.77, it said, or $29.95 plus shipping. I forget the shipping rate. I shipped it in a padded flat for $6.90. Bingo. I've talked about this bingo game many times. I've sold about 5 of these in the last 12 months. I picked them up for $1 or $2 at a thrift store or yard sales. I've never spent more than $2 on one of these. This one did not sell for $113. It sold for $90. I think I sold this one for $80. Could have held out for more. I had it for a while. What happens with every time I get one of these, somebody buys it with 0 or very low feedback, and then never pays for it, and then it relists and almost immediately sells after that. I have no clue. Every single time I've had one of these, that's what happens. I'm okay with it. I have my unpaid item case open after 2 days, 48 hours, and then it automatically relists after that, and it sells. So just the name of the game. I don't know if it's a competitor trying to get mine off the market for a while so they can sell theirs, or what's going on with it. This one shipped to Hawaii, so it sold to Hawaii. This one was in fantastic condition, though. I showed it in my last video, I believe, as a bolo. So if you see this Excalibur Talking Bingo especially, Radica makes a Talking Bingo as well. It doesn't sell for as much. It's a little bit bigger than this one. This is just a tiny little handheld thing that calls out bingo numbers. Comes with chips and cards and a manual and some extra cards, and always a good seller. And I've never had a return on one of these either. So I search the toy section at every Goodwill and every Salvation Army and every yard sale I go to for these, and don't find a lot of them. I've found about 5 of them this year. So, and if you just have this blue part, just the unit itself, it'll sell for about $50. So good deal when you find them. This is a Tommy Hilfiger vintage sailing gear polo shirt. I tried to get $44.95 for it. I held it onto it for a while. My pictures weren't the greatest. For some reason, the shadowing was weird. I ended up selling it for $20 plus shipping. Hilfiger sailing gear can do well if you have the coats. Apparently, the polos don't do as well. I couldn't find another one just like this, but I listed it. It had a lot of low $10 offers, and finally got a $20 offer, and I took it. This is just a Wherever Super Shooter. It's the cookie press, and I don't know why I didn't put cookie press in there, but it's just a replacement piston and screw part. And the Wherever cookie presses do really super well. I sell them for about $45 to $50 every time I find one. If it comes with the box, I get the higher end. If it comes without the box, I get the lower end. As long as it has all the parts with it, you can sell them. And this one didn't have all the parts, so I parted it out, and this is the first part that sold for it. I got the $17.99, and it was free shipping because it weighs less than like 3 ounces for it's. This actually comes apart. That screw piece comes off, and so I shipped it flat in a just a little small bubble mailer, and I wrapped it in a little bit of extra bubble wrap and sent it off. $17.99, and I paid $3 for the super shooter at the Goodwill. Olympics. This is actually the Paralympics USA sweatshirt. It's a sweatshirt. Sold it for $22.45. The Olympics is on right now, so if you got Olympic stuff, get it listed. This didn't sell till after the Olympics started, so that's good. I paid $3.89 for this at a Goodwill. It was embroidered. It's Nike. You can see on the sleeve there it says Paralympics, and somebody's messaging me. My wife is asking me how the show went today with Dusty and Scott, so I'll have to answer her in a minute. The backside was plain. It was a newer Nike tag, probably from the last Olympics or Paralympics. It doesn't matter. The Paralympics, I believe, start after the Olympics. And I did get another Ralph Lauren Paralympic pullover, not a pullover, jacket that hasn't sold yet, but I bought them both at the same day. We have an Olympic and a Paralympic training center about 30 miles or 20 miles from here. And so we do find this stuff on occasion. This is one of my better sales of the month, aside from the bingo game. This is a vintage wool hunting shirt made by Cabela's. You'll know the vintage stuff by the tag. That is the vintage tag. If you see that tag, you know it's older. Not all of the Cabela's stuff does well, but this one does. Just this particular shirt, in fact, does really well. It was in fantastic condition. I don't think it had ever been worn. It's probably from the 70s. And I sold it for $85. I paid $7 for this. I saw it at a Salvation Army. I'm going to answer my wife while I'm talking. I saw it at a Salvation Army for $7, and I passed it up. And I thought, I come home and I looked it up, and I'm like, oh. And I had it listed for $114 for a long time. Somebody made me an $85 offer, and I took it. I actually went back to the store the next day. As soon as they opened, I grabbed this thing up. I was glad it was still there. I was hoping it was because I went back on a Wednesday, but this was the one color that wasn't half off because we have half off days on Wednesdays, but it was okay. I picked it up for $7 and sold it for $85. I'll take that any day of the week. Tommy Hilfiger windbreaker. I believe I took a $70 offer on this one. It's just a basic Hilfiger spell out windbreaker. It has the big square logo on the chest. The backside was blank except for that little logo at the top. And of course the vintage Hilfiger logo on the inside. Every time I find one of these windbreakers or jackets, this one had the hidden hood. Those do better. I think I took a $60 or $70 offer on this. I'd have to go back and look, but that's about what I took. And it sold, and it took a few weeks, and they generally do. But they always sell for me, and they sell well. And I typically pick them up for little or nothing. I got this for $4.89 at the Goodwill. I've picked them up for as low as $1 at yard sales, typically this version or something very similar to it. And some Hilfiger does super well, some of the vintage stuff, and some of it doesn't. But this particular style of windbreaker always does well for me. And this particular colorway, I guess is what the kids say nowadays, the green with the blue, the red and yellows do well. The brighter the colors tend to do better. And for some reason, this green and blue does really good. So every time I find it, it sells. These, I have no clue what they are, but there's some sort of data storage cassette type tapes. I don't know what they go to. I have no clue what they are. I bought them quite a while ago for $2 at a yard sale. So I got 2 boxes of them. One box was full. One box only had a few in it. And one was, I don't know if it was used or not, but it was in a little plastic case. I sold these for $60, and they went to Hungry. So I don't know what they are. I don't care what they are. When I first bought them, I bought them over the summer at a yard sale, and I looked them up on eBay, and there wasn't any. So I had no clue what they were. So I stashed them away in my death pile, and I got them out recently. And within 2 days, they were gone. And the guy was a U.S. buyer, but he ended up sending them to Hungary, and he's very excited and happy he got them. So whatever they are, they must really be something that's sought after by whoever needs them, because they sold quick. And there were 17 of these. DAT DDS-2 data cartridge, whatever that goes to, I have no clue. Don't care. The money's just as green. Okay, so I picked this up for, I think this one was $1 at a thrift store. This is the Iclops, made in 2010. It's the Spynet stuff you used to see at Walmart all the time, and it has night vision in it. They actually work, and they work pretty well. I've already gotten good feedback on this one. This one I sold for $30. For some reason, these things sell. I don't think originally they might have been $30. They were pretty cheap. I even put a picture on the screen so you could actually see it turns on. It's hard to actually take a photograph through the lenses, but this is one version, and I sold another version that'll be coming up here recently. You can typically pick these up for $2 to $3 at yard sales or thrift stores. This one I paid $1 for. Crazy. And there's a video game version. I forget, Modern Warfare has a version that goes for quite a bit of money too. I actually have it, but the one I have isn't in great shape, so I've never tried to sell it. But these do really well. So if you see them, pick them up if they're cheap. This is just a Bible, Catholic edition, 1957. This one had never been written in or used. It even came with the actual pamphlet. This one ended up going to Canada. I paid, our books that are Goodwill are $4 for 89 cents. So I think it's like 4 or 5 for 89 cents. So like 18, 20 cents, less than a quarter for this. I sold it for $20, and they paid shipping to Canada. And I went through the global shipping program, which I don't normally do for Canada, but it's apparently in my media mail options. I have it in my business rules or whatever they call that. I have it shipping to Canada through GSP, but they still bought it, and hopefully they're happy with it. So really nice Bible. This is the other version of that night vision. This one sold for $40. I took a best offer of $40 on this one. This one's a little bit more desirable. It comes with a big giant battery pack on the back. Takes 5 AA's. You can see I try to get a video of it or show it working. And there was some damage to it. It was like glue or something that was on it. Doesn't look like it was from the original thing, and the strap was still good. And I took a $40 offer on this one. And so if you see them at yard sales, pick them up. I'm sure that even as a parts unit, they probably do sell for some money, but if they're working, they can be up to $40, $50 for these things. Crazy. The recordable ones do really well. This is one of my best sales of the month. This was a purchase I made for 89 cents. These stand like 4 or 5 inches tall. They are salt and pepper shakers. I think I showed this in the last video, or talked about it anyway. They did sell. I took a $90 offer on these, and I've already gotten great feedback. I double boxed them. So I had just these perfect size boxes for each salt and pepper shaker. And I put each salt and pepper shaker in a box. I got a larger box. I actually bubble wrapped them inside that box. Then I bubble wrapped the outside of the boxes together. And then I had some the organic packing peanuts, and I put those around. So there was like 2 inches of play, and they were very excited to get them, and they arrived unbroken. I always get nervous when I ship something like this, but I paid 89 cents for the pair. So these were made by a lady named Ruth Bendel, I believe her name is. Her maiden name was Van Tellegen, and then she changed it to Bendel. These say R. Bendel on the back side of them. If you see them at thrift stores, pick them up. You're probably not going to find them. They're very hard to come by, but this was something that I did not know about when I got them. But I knew that there was something special about them. So I paid 89 cents for the pair, sold them for 90 bucks. Not bad. You can see in the top here where the 3 holes are, that's where the salt and pepper come out. You can also see that there's like this long slot piece around the holes. Well, there was also a bank version of this. So if you find the bank version, I think it's actually a little bit better because it's a little bit more rare. But these took a couple months to sell, but they did eventually sell, and I got a good deal, good price for them. Avalon Hill makes a lot of games. This one is Roadkill. The box was okay. This went to a game company in Wisconsin, I want to say. This one took forever to sell. It was probably one of the first things I did on my white background. But I've had it for several months, but I did get the full asking price of $23.71 plus shipping. I paid $1.89 for it originally. This one was, they're basically giving away mugs at our Goodwills. You can fill a bag for like $4.89 or something like that. Shopping bag, which I don't do. I buy individuals if I see something I like. This was an Epcot Center mug. It had the dragon whose name was Figment. I guess a figment of your imagination. It was dated 1982. Nice little mug. Sold it for $17.75 plus $6.90 shipping. Tarot cards. I pick up every deck of tarot cards I find, and some take longer than others. If you find the older version of this deck, it can go for more money. This particular version goes for anywhere from $10 to $20. This was a used deck, so I took an offer of $15.94. Took a few months to sell this one. If you find the old 1970, I think, 1 version, it'll sell pretty quick. This version takes a little bit longer because it's a newer version. But this is the most popular tarot deck out there. I don't get into tarot cards and stuff like that, but because they sell, I will sell them. I'll sell Bibles. I'll sell tarot cards. It doesn't matter to me. But if you find this deck, you can expect at least $10. And I think I did charge $3.75 shipping on top of that. So it did eventually sell. And hey, I just got a sale. $20 for a Mickey Mouse t-shirt from the 80s. So that'll be on the next update, let's hope. Just a Harley Davidson spell out on the sleeves t-shirt with a skull. It says HD. It was a nice shirt. I paid 50 cents for this one at 50-cent day at the Salvation Army. I took I believe a $20 offer on this one plus shipping. So it went $26.90 because I shipped it in a padded flat rate. I don't pick up a lot of Harley Davidson stuff. I haven't had a lot of luck with it, but this one was a little bit nicer. Andy the Parrot Head Picker says anything but black. Well, this had black in it, but it was gray, and it was a pullover fleece type thing. So I took a chance on it, and it was one of those chances that actually paid off in the end. So I always pick up polo, anything that's vintage, especially sweatshirts. This one wasn't in perfect condition, and the Polo Jeans Company ones don't do as well. I took a $20 offer on this, so again, $26.90 with shipping. It was a '90s shirt. They actually left me feedback. They were happy with it. Just Polo Jeans Company. If it says Polo Sport on it, it'll do a lot better. But Polo Jeans Company doesn't do as well. But it's still sold. I paid 50 cents for this one on a 50-cent day at the Salvation Army. Got the old Polaroid. Sold this one for $27.99 plus $6.90 shipping. These fit in nicely in the smallest priority box you can get. Not a flat rate, but if you go on their website, it's like a 8 by 10 by something, or 8 by 8 by 6 or something, I think is what it is. I got a message on this, hey, it doesn't work. And he said, I think it's missing the cartridge. I said, well, I tested it. It does work. You need film to, the batteries in the film. I educated the guy a little bit. I haven't heard back from him. So this one may be coming back. This one is a talking camera. So it'll say cheese or something like that. It's kind of crazy, but it's just another Polaroid 600 film camera. And they always sell. And normally they sell to retrospect. This one did not. They must not be looking for the talking version because I listed this at the same time as I did the other camera that I had in my last sales update, I believe. And that one sold right away for $28. This one did not. So it's all good. I still took the money, and hopefully it doesn't come back. He never messaged me back. New buyer, probably not familiar with how Polaroids work, but once you get the film for them, they do generally work. I still haven't done the video on how to test these things yet, but I'll get that up here pretty soon. Brooks Range, which is a mountain climbing type apparel company. I'd never heard of it, but I knew just by looking at it, it was kind of something special. The feel of this thing was really cool. It's just like a pullover, like a spandex almost. Let's see if it says what the material is. It doesn't say there, but that's the tag, Brooks Range Mountaineering. And then there's their logo, a little bunny rabbit with glasses on. It did pretty well. I got the full asking price of $26.95. It took a little bit of time to sell, but it did sell. So this one's called a soft shell jacket, and never heard of them, but sometimes when you're at the thrift store, and by the way, I paid $3.89 for that. When you're at the thrift store, you kind of get an idea. After you've been doing this for a while, you get a feel for certain things. And this one I kind of knew was something different than just your regular stuff. So if you see Brooks Range out there, at least look it up when you're at the thrift store. I wouldn't recommend buying it on a whim. I did look it up before I purchased it. I don't usually look things up because I kind of get I have an idea of what sells and what doesn't. But this one I did, and it seemed that they were in the $25 range, so I figured I'd take it. And so got the $26.95 plus shipping on that one. This is just some cassette tapes, a pack of 5 Maxell. High bias is what you're looking for, or there's other, higher standard ones. Your normal bias, you pretty much are, if you're selling cassette players, you can add them in with cassette players, or if you get a big stack of certain ones. But you want your high bias. This is a pack of 5, sold for $24.95. It was all still sealed. XL 290. So that was also in my death pile. For some reason, I stuck all my media in a tub and didn't list it. Got nervous about listing media for some reason, and so I've been listing it. I have a bunch of VHS tapes listed right now and things of that nature too. Not all media is created equal, and that's why you got to look for like high bias on these, and there's just different things that you have to really know what you're looking at when you're buying it. Now, typically, this probably cost me $1 at a yard sale. So typically, I'm going to pick them up anyway, and then I'll research them when I get home. And if I get a stack of them and I get a cassette player that I need to sell, I'll throw a stack of them with a cassette player, and it helps to increase the value of it if they don't have any actual resale value. You can tell these ones were manufactured around the time CDs were coming out because it says ideal for recording onto CD or from CD. So that's kind of neat. But $25 for a pack of 5 cassette tapes, pretty sweet. I had this one forever. Tech9 is a snowboarding company. They make a lot of snowboarding equipment and gear and clothing, and very popular company. I thought this thing would sell within minutes. I had it listed for like $99 at one time. I ended up eventually taking a $30 offer. You can see it's my old background. I think I got this way back in April of last year. I seen it at the end of the rack at the Goodwill, and I picked it up for $6.89. This one did have a little tiny discoloration mark right there on the hood. Nothing major, and it was missing the drawstring for the hood as well. It sat forever, but I finally did sell it for $30 plus $6.90 shipping. And the final thing that I'm going to talk about today is this Iowa Hawkeyes, just a frosted glass from the 60s, maybe the early 70s. This one was in fantastic shape. Generally, I pass this stuff up, but anytime there's a sports team on it, especially a college team, I'll look it up. I couldn't find any comps on it except for a set of 2 that sold for $20. So I said, what the heck? Somebody might be missing one. So I sold this one for $20 and haven't heard back from them. So must have been okay. And that is my sales update. This last week has been pretty slow, but it's okay because you have ups and downs. I did an experiment this week with auctions. They're all ending today, which is on a Tuesday. Why did I end them on Tuesday? I don't know. If I do it again, I'll do it on weekend, but I have 64 items that I put on auction that were slow movers, things that didn't, you can see me in the mirror there. See that? And Dusty was asking me about what was on my desk. This is just rubbing alcohol. He thought it was orange juice. No. And this is my mannequin. So anyway, 64 items I put up for auction, mostly clothing items that I picked up for 50 cents at the Goodwill, or less than, everything was less than $1. There's some CDs, some baseball caps. I have 7 items that currently have bids. I have 8 hours to go. So no, excuse me, 9 items that currently have bids of $10 is where I started it, plus $3.75 shipping. So I'll at least make $90 today. Like I said, they have 8 hours to go, so I'll do an update video on how that experiment went. I'm happy with it because the stuff that I have listed in that auction, in the auctions for this week, are things that I have almost no money into. Most of them came from 50-cent day. Most everything is under $2 original purchase price, and most everything has been sitting for at least 2 months or longer in my eBay inventory that I just, they're things that I'm not into anymore, or things that I bought thinking that I'd make a little more money on, but that were a low investment type things. Very low investment. Going to the Salvation Army on 50-cent day is cheaper than going to the bins at $1 a pound, really, because shirts tend to weigh more than half a pound. And jeans, I've actually been buying a lot of jeans on 50-cent day and selling a lot of jeans. There was none in this update video, but if you can get jeans, Levi's or whatever on 50-cent day, then buy them. You know, because if you get $20 for a pair of jeans, it's 50-cent investment plus shipping of $6.90 and a padded flat rate. $6.90 if you're top rated, $7 something if you're not. Pretty good deal. So that is the update for what I've sold, what I'm doing kind of now. I've got a watcher, or a guy interested in that Michael Jackson coat that I showed in the last video. Hopefully that one gets sold today. I've been getting a lot of offers this week on it, but they were all under what I'm willing to accept. So hopefully he comes through. He wants to use it in an 80s show. He's an 80s band. He has an 80s band where they just sing old 80s songs. So that would be really cool. So hopefully that goes well, and we get that sold this week. And I'm waiting on one auction from shopgoodwill.com, and I don't know what your guys' experiences are with Shop Goodwill, so let me know in the comments below. But I won a big boombox from the 90s, or actually from the late 80s. It's a Sony, and it's the first boombox that actually had a CD player in it. And I bought it for $4.99. It was 15 or 18 something plus was shipping and handling. So $23 is what it came to, 23 something. And I'm waiting forever for them to ship the dang thing. So and it's coming from Orange County, California. Once it gets here, I'll show it off on video because it's really cool. Even for parts, it sells for quite a bit of money. It's very sweet. New and working is probably a $200 unit. Not new, but we're in working condition where everything works on is probably a $200 unit. Surprised that I was able to buy it, but apparently they're very slow in shipping it out. So, oh well, we'll get it, and hopefully that works out. But I've blabbed on long enough. I want to thank you all for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that, and enjoy your day.